Market conditions majority bullish. S&P futures up 0.28 this morning, grabbing a new all-time high here on S&P 500, and a pretty nice continuation that we're seeing after a little bit of a pullback over the last 3 or 4 days. We've seen breadth improve slightly here as well, pushing back up to 55%. Nothing overly impressive, but moving that direction. We'll see if we do get a bounce off of these levels. We're getting compression here again. We're still majority bearish on that overall trend at 55%. We'll see if this move higher pulls a little bit more of those S&P stocks back into some participation. We're seeing VIX soften here a little as well, back under 16, 1597 this morning, majority bearish, and still in that overall downtrend. That's bullish for stocks as that's continuing to move to the downside. We saw S&P 500 close out yesterday at 14.0 on the daily as well as on the weekly time frame. Seeing Dow Jones Industrial Average, the DIA here pulling, pushing a little bit higher here. We'll see if we can open and get a new all-time high on the Dow as well. The triple Qs, we're seeing that push higher, opening pre-market here at 606. That will be a new high for tech names here as well, and that pullback pivot point is going to still be sitting at 585 for triple Qs. Russell 2000, we're also seeing some support here in this demand block at the upper end of this breakout location, pulling back. We've still got quite a bit of range here to get all the way back to the 236, so well into momentum. We are expanded in the trend. We know that. We know when those expansions start to happen, particularly here, something like this weekly time frame. You look at when we were expanded here, either consolidating for a length of time or getting, in this case, this was a little bit more of an anomaly with the tariff baloney that we ended up having here and getting a retracement. So we'll see. We're definitely extended. So it could just kind of slog along the upper end of this range. That would be fine as well if we stay in momentum in small cap names. USO getting a retracement here back to 72. That pulls it all the way back to the 50% retracement of this current trend. Swing high here, swing low there, and another potential attempt here at 72 on for oil, and we'll see if that holds or if we dip down a little bit deeper. That 618, particularly if it breaks this zone, you get a new demand location down here, a lot more liquidity once that breaks, and then that could be what buyers are looking for and searching for, is waiting for a retracement back to that 69 range. That would also align with some breakout locations over here. Keep an eye on that for the next few days. Gold also continuing its run here, 357 on GLD to the upside. I'm going to squeeze this in just a little bit and grab this swing low point. This might be the new range that we start to look at here. Looking now, 236 is back at 343 on a retracement. So grabbing a new all-time high. Gold just continuing to tear to the upside. And like I say, these patterns, historically they don't turn out very good, but we'll see what ends up happening here. Just be aware of the entry location now. This, you're entering at all-time highs. You would have been entering at all-time highs two or 3 weeks ago as well, and still been able to get some participation out of gold. So keep an eye on this daily time frame. This is going to be a lot more telling, and see if some of these momentum zones continue to hold up. So the playground here for gold becomes 356 all the way back to 343, meaning that those would still be buy locations. You'd still be in an uptrend, looking for locations to buy into this uptrend on pullbacks inside of this range. Deeper pullbacks still could be the case, but something may start to be breaking once you break back down into some of those deeper ranges. Dollar continuing to show some weakness here as well. Let me just zoom into that pattern a little bit more. You can see on the weekly time frame, pretty solid downtrend that we've had now for all of 25. This point right here is the beginning of 25, continuing to see that downturn in the dollar. We did see some continuation to the downside on the 2-year Treasury. We were talking about that momentum zone, kind of that inverted momentum zone. The upside down or bearish momentum zone works the same way, and so rates are obviously in a strong downtrend and continuing that downtrend. Market participants are reacting to these locations, and rates are continuing that downward slide. So that could continue to be our trend here. 355 currently on the 2-year, and if we look at this weekly time frame, any deeper retracement is going to pull us back to 329, 268 is a 50% retracement. That certainly could be on the table if we break this this low point here on the 2-year. The 10-year, similar price pattern, not quite as aggressive to the downside, but working its way in that direction as well. If it were to break back below 408, this 410 number, it could push back towards 4 and then potentially get sub 4 if we were to break 330 is the 382 on the weekly time frame. If we continue to see rates slide, we're kind of at a breaking point where we could see some continued sliding to the downside. That's a double-edged sword, because if rates continue to go down, it typically means that the economy is running, that interest rates need to be lowered because things are slow, like employment. The economy is slowing. So we have this issue with inflation still creeping a little bit higher, and the economy and jobs starting to slow down, and that could be a stagflation scenario where we end up with a situation where we're still getting a little bit of inflation, but the economy is slowing as well. That would be a bearish scenario for equities potentially there as well. Although the idea of lower interest rates, equities kind of love that idea first and foremost. A couple stock ideas to consider today: NAT, Nordic American Tankers, nice confirmation bar back into momentum. $3 name. It's had, these tanker stocks have a lot of volatility to them. Some other nice biotech names, pharmaceutical names are also working well here as well. We saw BIB, which we're taking a trade on today as well. That's Biogen. And ARRY, nice confirmation bar here as well, pushing back into momentum. So got 20 names in that new buy list. These are pretty tight criteria that we're looking for these setups, and some things for you to consider in this overall uptrend. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.